Okay, before I get started on Impact, I want to talk about the Twitch channel for Impact. Look, what I did, because I wanted to see what the situation was with Twitch compared to going to a normal stream that anyone would normally look at, or a website that already had it pre-recorded. I wanted to look at the quality as well as how many people were watching at the time. Now, what I saw, comparing it to what I normally see if I stream it somewhere, or, excuse me, or if I looked at a pre-recording of it, was that the quality looked pretty good, didn't look any different. So that was an A+ for them. Here was the thing. The commercials, I can understand if they're setting up special commercials for the first time they did on Twitch to make people interested in the product. Like when AJ Styles won the title from Kurt Angle. Or the first Ultimate X match. That I understand. They showed a very long segment of the Ultimate X match. And some long segment of AJ Styles dealing with Kurt Angle. Very short, but at least long enough to be seen. It's understandable. But what I see here is a major problem. Unless they reach out to Twitch gaming streamers, they're not going to get anywhere. Remember, Twitch is for gamers to stream their games and for people to participate in it. Because this is what you got. Jason.tv was the precursor to Twitch. And that's what people used to do. They used to stream anything they wanted. But Twitch is generally for gamers. So unless the brass in the back of Impact Wrestling really reach out to gamers and maybe give them some type of deal like, hey, you want to be a part of our Impact? Come, if we're in the area, you can come down and you can hang out. We'll give you free tickets. Talk about us. That is the only chance they're going to start getting anywhere. They're going to need to start reaching out to Twitch streamers. That's their only chance to really start getting traction, because 8,400 up to about 10,200 to 400, and then it dropped back down to 8,700. That's during the show. By the end of the show, it dropped back down to 8,700. That's a lot of people. But for a wrestling promotion, doing this, that's not enough. But that's just me. Okay. Got that done under 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Oh my gosh. Sorry it took so long. Let's get to this. We got Brian Cage. We got Johnny Impact. And we got Killer Kross. Johnny comes out saying simply, I want to kill Killer Kross for what he did to my wife. Brian Cage comes out saying, I want to kill you because your boys from Survivor saved your ass. You know the title belongs to me. I want a rematch now. And he's saying, no, I want Killer Kross now. Killer Kross comes out. Killer Kross pretty much says, here is the real Johnny Impact. He got his boys. Well, yeah, he got his boys saving his butt. He said that during that segment and the interview. Generally saying it in the interview, but not at the opening of the show. In the end, he starts fighting Killer Kross. Then he got his butt kicked a little bit by Killer Kross. Killer Kross then got knocked over by Brian Cage. Then Brian Cage knocked over Johnny. After that, Brian saw him in the back and said, I want you now. And he said, look, let me finish with him, then I'll finish with you. I give my word, you will have your shot. And he says pretty much, don't screw me over. There you go. First match of the night. The Rascals. I believe it wasn't Trey and Desmond Xavier. It was the other guy. I really don't know the guys from the Rascals very well. But they look pretty good together. Then they went up against Lucha Brothers. This was a safe match. That's what this was. The Lucha Brothers versus the Rascals was a safe match. Doesn't mean it wasn't a good match. But it was a safe X Division match. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing that was too out of the comfort zone of Impact Wrestling. It's a good possibility that they want to build up into the new channel that they're on. At least when it comes to the wrestling. The storylines and everything else is a little bit different. But at least the wrestling, it was a good match. No lie. But it was a safe match. And seeing that the Rascals didn't win, it makes you wonder where they're going to go with it. It makes you wonder what's going to happen with the Rascals. We already know the Lucha Brothers. Let's be honest. They're going to be doing something. Either they're going to be working maybe in All Elite Wrestling. Maybe they'll go up against LAX again. We don't know. And if you guys want me to talk about All Elite Wrestling, leave me a comment below and I'll give you my thoughts about when I saw the press conference. I did see some of it. I'll have to see the rest of it. Unfortunately, I had something to do. Now, let's get to the LAX segment and then what happened after that. Pretty much nothing really serious with the LAX segment. They just talked about, look, we proved to you, Conan, that we can handle ourselves and it wasn't going to be about family and about honor or any type of respect. He agreed. He said that we just had a monumental and historical type of match, which was good. Then, after what happened with Sami Callihan, which I'll be getting to, OVE bumped into them, and pretty much we now going to have a match between OVE and LAX. About to say Sami Callihan. I don't know why. Anyway, it was okay. But maybe you should be doing something with Lucha Brothers. But it counts on if the Lucha Brothers are still there, or if they're doing something else at All Elite. They're going to sign with All Elite Wrestling. If they're working on Major League Wrestling, I don't know. Now, Tessa Blanchard versus the Jobber. Didn't catch her name. I'll just flash her picture right in front of my face. I'll say this. Tessa is following character. That she's freaking pissed at Gail Kim. And she was rough on the Jobber. In fact, she did a really nasty... Oh man, it is in my face. She legitimately, when she basically kicked her in the back, she extended her entire body into her back once she put her into those ring ropes. She was not playing around. She wanted to hurt her. It looked brutal. In the end, of course, she won. And also we saw Gail Kim saying, I wanted just to do something right. I want to do something fair. The right person won. There you go. Now, the only reason I didn't say anything about Taya in the beginning of this review is that because of storyline, what's going on with Johnny, she's out. Now, this is the thing I did talk about in the pay-per-view, that are you going to have Johnny, I gotta say his name, Johnny Impact, Killer Cross, and Taya involved in it? Because if it's going to be that way, it just makes you feel bad for Taya Valkyrie, because this is going to be about Gail Kim and Tessa Blanchard. If this is what it is, then it just hurts me personally that Taya Valkyrie is not doing anything. But I could be wrong. You guys tell me below. Eddie Edwards had his moment with McKenzie. And oh, I just found out through Andre. How you doing, dude? McKenzie is no longer going to be there. McKenzie, I believe McKenzie Mitchell is now gone. And that, look, I may act like I'm a horny old man, but I appreciate a good interview, no matter if she's a male, or he's a male, or she's a female. I just said she's a male. You get my point. I don't really care about who you are when it comes to your gender. I care about you doing a good job. And I believe that McKenzie was a good interviewer. The other person that I believe is going to take her place, honestly, I kind of agree with Andre. She doesn't really feel like she has a personality. Now, I'm not saying McKenzie was great with her personality. They really didn't give her much to do. I mean, she did her interviews, but she didn't do a lot more than that. And I believe that was a lost opportunity for her personally. But that's just me. And it kind of hurts to know she's gone. So, whatever you do, McKenzie, take care. And I hope you're going to do all right. Maybe you go to All Elite Wrestling. I hope you do. And they will pay you well. As an announcer, as an interviewer, maybe you'll be a color commentator. I wouldn't mind seeing a woman color commentator who knows how to do the job properly. Unlike Renee Young at this moment, where she feels very generic. She needs to work with Dean Ambrose. I'm sorry. She could still be a commentator, but she needs to be on her husband's side. And I really believe that's what's the problem when it comes to Dean. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's move on to Eddie. Eddie having his moment saying he was done with Moose. And then Eli comes out pretty much saying, you think you're good? You think because you've done all this? I've already gone through Tommy Dreamer. I've gone through Abyss. And you look like the next one I should be going through, giving you the gravy train. So you may have Tommy Dreamer setting up Eli to go against Eddie. Well, I know I could have said Abyss, but Abyss isn't on the main roster anymore. Tommy sometimes comes and goes, but I'm just saying in that respect. But I don't know how to feel about this. I really feel like Eddie should not be dealing with Eli. Because then, what is Eli? He's not going to be the person that's going to be focused on. Eddie's to focus on. If you're going to bring them together, you should bring it as a title. Have the X Division title for these guys. Hell, have the world title for these guys. Not just the title of who's hardcore. I'm sorry, I like hardcore, but not in this situation right now. Okay, the Smoke Show. You know I had to come to this. The Smoke Show has already said that she's going to do a strip segment. Perk my interest. How far were they going to go? Would they just fake it like the WWE? Or would they actually have them show panties and bras like the WWE used to? You got the Smoke Show coming out in a whatever that sexy thing she was wearing. Saying simply, you guys are ready here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm ready to show you always know how to party. And then the Debsy Hit Squad comes out. And then Gaba says to her simply, do not do this. You do not need to show yourself to them. Look, me and my boys are going to be the one who's going to win. So you don't need to do that for them. You can do that for us. You don't need to degrade yourself because you are a wonderful woman. You don't need to show anything. And it was Raju. Why do they have Raju as a comic relief? Why? I honestly rather see Raju as really a tough guy. Not someone who's totally dumb and naive. Pretty much saying, yeah, but didn't you say that you only want to see yourself naked and you get smacked in the face? Why? The guy who used to have the same name as me, Zane, is treated like a bitch. That upset me. But what didn't upset me was Big Poppa Pump coming out. Haven't seen him in a while. And he pretty much said, you guys are interfering with my enjoyment. My freak. I want to get my freak on. We want to get our freak on. Get the hell out of this ring. And supposedly Gaba has a fake heart attack while his son and Raju tries to beat up Big Poppa Pump and fails. And then he puts the Steiner recliner on them both. And in the end, you get your freak on. Well, as freaky as possible. And I will say this. Did they go there? Yes, they did. Compared to the WWE that doesn't do that anymore, it is refreshing to see that if they're going to say what they're going to do, they do it and they don't cop out and try to find some way out of it. If you say you're going to be more edgier, fine. Be edgier. Now, is this super edgy? No. It isn't. This isn't super edgy. Honestly, if you wanted to be edgy, she should have came out in a thong and wearing one of those super thin little tops where the only thing that's covered is the freaking nipples. If you want to be super edgy. But you know what? It was alright. And she is a damn good looking woman. Whoever the guy or girl that she's with, if they treat her right, from what I understand, she's a very nice person. You're a lucky bastard. No matter if you're male or female. I'm just saying. Now, the alley segment with Su Yung. And they're talking about Rosemary. I still believe this was too late. This should have been done earlier. And it could have culminated in Homecoming. But I understand if she was not cleared then. I'm talking about Rosemary. If Rosemary was not cleared or she didn't have a contract yet, it's understandable. I'm not 100% angry about it. I'm just being, excuse me. I'm just being very objective. Honestly objective. I'm not against Kiera Hogan. I actually like Kiera Hogan. I believe Kiera Hogan should gain a title eventually in Impact Wrestling. But it would have been better with Rosemary. Now, what was written on the coffin was one more, what was it again? One more chance to join the shadows. Because she was talking the alley, there was a flicker in the lights, and then it was written on the coffin and they zoomed in on it. I can understand you doing this. But here's the thing. If this is culminating into a pay-per-view, I'm all for it. If it's not, it's going to feel a little empty. Because this should be something incredibly special on a very special platform. You got Rosemary coming back. And either Rosemary is going to convert Allie back to the light, or she's going to destroy her and send her into the darkness. And that is where this should be on a special show. That's a pay-per-view, not a themed Impact. But it's going to be whatever it's going to be. And I have to take it for what it is. Let's see. Johnny Impact versus Killer Kross. It finally happened in the night. Now this... I know I could be talking about, and you know the match I'm going to talk about. Don't worry, it's coming after this. Now, this was a good match. It was, at one point, a dangerous match. Because once they started introducing things on the outside, because they never said it was a hardcore match, the ref just let them do whatever the hell they wanted. And that happened throughout the night. The ref was letting everyone do whatever the hell they wanted. So in this situation, when the chairs were brought in and then the steel steps, I had a feeling something might happen with Johnny. And it did happen. When he buried Killer Kross from the chairs that he got from the crowd. And then he grabbed the chair himself, got onto the steps, and did a backflip onto Killer Kross, who was already covered in those steel chairs. Well, aluminum chairs, actually. He legitimately whacked his eye. You'll see it in my face. His face hit the steel steps when he landed. And he cut his eye. He's lucky he didn't go blind from that. He got nailed really hard in the face. And when that was all said and done, he didn't seem to be badly hurt. Hopefully he didn't get a concussion. He got up. And then Killer Kross got up. And then he started helping Johnny to throw chairs into the ring. It was good. In the end, the person that saved him was Moose. I'm talking about Killer Kross. Moose saved Killer Kross by throwing Johnny into the table that he set up earlier in the match. The question is going to be, what does this mean? Does this mean that you're still going to be having the situation between Johnny, Killer Kross, Moose, and now you're going to have Brian Cage dragged into it? To be honest, I wouldn't rather see this. What I want to see is Killer Kross and Moose go up against LAX. That's what I want to see. I want to see Moose have a feud with LAX. I want to see LAX struggle against two monsters that they obviously are going to have a major problem to beat. And I think they're the right people to go after. But that's just me. Final match I'm going to talk about is the one that needs to be said. A real X Division story. Yes! I think I'm going to use that for my title. A real X Division story. You got Rich Swann with Josh in the ring, having their interview. Rick finally getting a title, the X Division title, to get something that means something better than the Cruiserweight title. At least he's gotten a real storyline. I'm just saying. Anyway, he pretty much says, I am going to make this thing mean something. I am the man now. I'm it. And then, as he's talking, I'm not going to be elaborating on everything. I'm just saying it simply. You got Sammy coming out. Now, I got to say this. I didn't expect this. I thought Sammy was just going to attack him. I didn't expect Sammy to actually have a history with him. And then he says simply, you know how I feel about family, and family is everything. That actually hurts my throat. Especially now my throat's messed up again. This weather in New York is go crazy, man. Anyway, he says, I don't offer this often. Oh, wait. Before I get there, he knows how to play the crowd. The crowd was so into hating him. I love that Sami Callihan knows. Basically, Sami knew how to play the crowd. But in this situation, he says, you know I don't offer this to just anybody. But he pulls out a OVE shirt that's been selling out. He got one from the concession stand. And he said, take this. Come home, Rich. Come home. And I'm going, are they actually going to do a real storyline? With the X Division, no less? My scalp started to itch. And legitimately, I'm a scalp. When my scalp itches, is one of two reasons. One, I need to wash my hair. And two, I am now interested in a real X Division storyline, which we have not been getting proper ones. Yes, this past year, we have been getting some taste of a storyline here, a storyline there, kind of shortened, but really not great, but good. But you got Sami Callihan, who last year really made things different for wrestling. And now you got Rick Swann having a feud with him or joining him. We don't know. Willie Mack comes out, start beating up on him, and then you got Rick trying to separate them both. In the end, Rick went to the back, and then you had the match between Sami and Willie Mack, which was the best match of the damn night. This was a repeat of of course, it was a repeat of the pay-per-view, but it was still the best freaking match of the night. In fact, they added to that match they had at the pay-per-view. At least you can say they did good in the pay-per-view. Yes, they did. But here they went beyond that. I felt they went well beyond that match. So this match wasn't a super high-flying match. It was a physical match. And I loved it. I'm not someone who loves physical matches. I like a balanced show. I like a balanced match. But in this situation, it was so physical. And now, Willie's mad at Sami for hurting him, but then want to do something to Rich. You got Sami, who wants to do something with Rich and make him join him. And then you got Rich, who's torn between actually joining him and staying with Willie. A real story that has possible depth to it. In the end, it was, who won it? I forgot. I went blank. I forgot. Because it was such a good match. Willie wins it. Makes Sami angry. But the question is going to be, how far are they going to go with the storyline with Rich, with Willie, and with Sami? I don't know. I'm hoping that they'll blow this. Because they could actually make this a good story for the X Division. When was the last time you saw a really good story for the X Division? You don't. Not saying they don't care about the X Division, but they don't make it a main emphasis. Maybe now they are. I don't know. This was a good show. But you guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Watch for my Major League Wrestling. I will be doing it tomorrow. Peace.